Hello and welcome to Insanity XD. I am your sweet sounding host speaking. Remember, if you do not hear me, then it is simply not official. Coming at you with a bit of a different topic today, we have my recommendations for gangster films. I love this genre. Nothing beats a good Irish-Italian mob movie. British ones are also good, but a lot of them are mid, to be honest. Anyway, knowing which ones are worth watching can be a bit hard to figure out, but don't worry, I got you. I'm here. Alright, starting off with my number one, we have The Godfather 1 and 2. In my opinion, it's important to watch both of these movies as honestly the experience just feels more complete. The first Godfather is more based on world building and the second one has a lot of spicy drama. The third one is also lit, but think of that as more of a DLC. I'm going to give you a bit of history instead of lore with The Godfather, because honestly, I don't want to spoil any of the story. It's something you should watch for the first time with just not knowing anything about it. This is a 9.2 masterpiece on IMDb. Both of them. Watch it, seriously. The Godfather was made in 1972 by Francis Ford Coppola and who co-wrote the screenplay with Mario Puzo. It was based on Puzo's best-selling 1969 novel of the same name. Okay, but just a tiny bit of lore. It's basically the story of the Corleone family, spanning from 1945 to 1955, under the rule of Vito Corleone. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. The film also focuses on getting his son Michael to turn from a patriotic soldier into the criminal mastermind his father knew he could be. Paramount Pictures obtained the rights to this bad boy for the price of 80 grand, which back in the day is like, my maths is off, but probably 200. Funnily enough, studio executives had trouble finding a director for this goat. The first few candidates turned down the position before Coppola signed on to direct the film himself, but he had a few disagreements following overcasting some of the characters. The Godfather was released in the United States on March the 24th, 1972. It was the highest grossing film of that year, and it was the second highest grossing film ever made. Sorry, the first highest grossing film ever made. It was actually, I was thinking of it being the second greatest film in American cinema behind, I'll put a picture of it. I forgot the name. I used to know the name. I'm sorry. I've never seen that film either. I should watch it. It earned around 246 to 287 million at the box office. The film received universal acclaim from critics and audiences, was praised for the performances of the actors. The directing, screenplay, cinematography, editing, score, and portrayal of the mafia was on point. On God. At the 45th Academy Awards, the film won Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Director. Since its release, it's basically regarded as one of the most influential and greatest films ever made, especially in the gangster genre. This is literally the start, the OG. It's pretty much amazing in every retrospect, so much that in 1990, the US National Film Registry of the Library of Congress thought it was culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant enough to be put in preservation. Can you believe that? Do I even need to say why you should pick this bad boy up? If you're looking for the greatest gangster film out there, just watch this now. Coming in second, we have Goodfellas. But trust me, these white guys are anything but well behaved. Fun fact, and a keynote, Joe Pesci in this film has never been better. The dude's on fire with his role as Tommy. And I remember a few of his lines to this day. History time. Made in 1990, it was directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Nicholas Pileggi, and Scorsese himself, of course. It was produced by Irwin Winkler, and the film basically serves as an adaptation of the 1985 book Wise Guy by Pileggi. Fun fact, Scorsese and Martin Scorsese, I think I'll just call him Martin, initially wanted the film to be called Wise Guy, and he was so set on this, he postponed making it. But he and Pileggi later had a talk about, figuring things out, and he made him an offer he couldn't refuse, as he agreed to change the title to Goodfellas. To be honest, he just basically offered him a fat bag, in my opinion, but we'll never know, but money talks. The story starts in 1955. Our boy Henry Hill sees the mafia guys basically living the life he's always dreamed of, and he decides to get an internship of crime. Henry begins as a level zero mobster for Jimmy, but he soon begins to level up on the streets. Fast forward 5 years, and Henry is dating Karen Friedman, an honest Jewish woman who is initially troubled by Henry's life of crime, but once she sees how fat his wallet is, she marries him despite her parents' approval. Can you imagine how that conversation went down? Oh, Mom, Dad, I'm marrying this guy. No. He's rich. Goodbye. Now, fast forward to 1970, Billy Batts, a level 100 gangster, has recently ended his stretch. He decides to go to a bar for a bit of white style where he bumps into his pal Tommy. Now, normally this would be a cute reunion, your friends just got out of prison, oh, hi, how you doing? But Tommy and Jimmy beat, stab, and shoot Billy to death when he starts dissing our boy Tommy. You can't just send a level 100 mafioso to the lobby scot-free, so Jimmy, Henry, and Tommy bury the body in upstate New York. Now, this is hilarious, as literally 6 months later, Jimmy learns that the burial site is slated for the development, which means they need to move the body somewhere else so they get back. So they can basically go back to their lives. God knows what they do with it. 4 years later, Karen reads some chat logs and finds out Henry has been DMing a fiend called Janice, so she throws hands with her and threatens Henry with a 200 pump to the head. Henry straight up thinks she's tripping and moves in with Janice, but Paulie, of course, insists he should return to his wife, only after he collects a debt from a gambler in Tampa with Jimmy. I guess he thought this was like clear his head, like a getaway, but actually, nah, it's a good way to clear heads. Now, once they get back from their holiday, Jimmy and Henry are arrested and being turned in by the gambler's sister, who just happens to work for the FBI. You couldn't write the stuff, but they did. They don't beat the case and receive a fat 10-year stretch. Normally, this would be an issue, but these guys were in a greasy cell. They were living lavishly. I'll show you some images right now. After only serving 4 years with a smile on his face, Henry is paroled and decides he wants to sell cocaine with Jimmy and Tommy against Paulie's orders. Jimmy knows where $6 million in cash and jewelry are going to be at an airport, and he basically pays the guard to let them take it. Insurance will cover it, baby. After some of the gang members get a bit too carried away with the dough, most of the crew except Tommy and Henry are murdered. Remember when I said you couldn't one-shot a level 100 and expect to get away with it? Well, in 1970, Tommy is deceived and gassed up into believing he's going to be a made man. He gets murdered straight after walking into the room. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This seems more like an excuse to get rid of the madman than a retribution for murdering bats, or honest. By 1980, Henry and his wife are South London cokeheads and become too paranoid to even go shopping. They try to move a couple of G's, but they get arrested by narcotics agents and are jailed. Well, Henry is, not his wife. After the narcotics agents basically fail to find anything on him, they release him. Oh, and his wife casually tells him she flushed $60,000 worth of coke down the toilet. I was gonna say the Isha, but I can't. FBI basically don't find anything, as we know, and they just let them to just rot. They're just like, these guys are crazy, like no one cares. The boy Paulie has got his back though, and he decides that he won't just let him starve. So he gives him $3,200, but says he won't be playing duos with Jimmy anymore. That's really sad, because Paulie was literally the OG, like he was always there for Henry. Henry meets Jimmy at a diner. Sorry, Paulie was always there for Jimmy. I'm not sure if he was always there for Henry, but who cares? At a diner, and he asks to travel on a hit assignment. But Henry, being Henry, thinks that this is too suspicious, and he thinks that Jimmy plans to have him and Karen killed. So he's like, fudge it, and he becomes a snitch, and his family go into witness protection program. And that's literally that's literally it. But you can't go wrong with this one, folks. It's basically you can't go wrong with this, folks. It's basically based on the true story, has a nice spicy bit of realistic drama to it. Oh, sorry guys, I'm actually out of space, We'll continue with this next week, okay? If you have a complaint you wish to be known, an idea you want to be seen, and an opinion you want to be heard, please comment down below. I've been your sweet sounding host, and it's been an honor to speak to you today.